If you want to hear two guys tell each other to fuck off faster than Dana White would tell a sponsor when they tell him not to post anything about Donald Trump, go to www.nttfgpod.com and subscribe. I'm Rock.
And I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Can you like put something on my fucking suit?
Yeah, I'm gonna put one of those.
No, come on, make it look
What is it called? A clavicle?
a clavicle. You're so dumb, you fucking asshole.
What's it called?
Clavicle.
What's that fucking a kerchief? A fucking what's that? What's that?
I always say kerchief.
Rich
cravat?
people. Rich people put that fucking instead of a tie, they put a fucking what is it? What is it called?
It's a cravat.
Is that a type of wine?
Oh, here we go.
Your hair looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Always does.
Why am I dressed like this? Because I'm outside. Because we're getting shit done. That's why.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in a parking lot, and it smells like weed. ShopRite parking lot, weed. ShopRite parking lot.
Coming from you.
No, it's not for once. ShopRite parking lot, weed. Where'd I go? I went to AC over the weekend. Remember I told you I was going to AC?
How was it?
Parking lot, weed. Elevator,
All right.
weed. Bro, weed is everywhere.
Weed.
Fucking
Weed.
everywhere. Seriously. But I go to the gym. I go to the gym like 3 times a week. Weed. I'm in the parking lot. Weed. Dudes getting their pump on, getting their fucking Tocaloke on, and they're weed.
They're like,
everything's weed.
I'm putting on my best pair of UGG slippers.
Oh,
Gonna hit this
motherfuckers.
J-bone.
I want to fucking rip their hearts out. So listen. So remember I told you I was going to AC for my anniversary.
I did. Remember I told you you won't leave AC feeling well. Did you?
Yeah. No. And for different reasons. But no, I didn't leave AC feeling well. The so we went to see Sebastian Maniscalco. He was fucking fun. What was really good, he didn't do the shit on his Netflix special like we were talking about. It was like all different shit. So we went to a place called Vic and Anthony's Steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good reviews. If I was leaving a review, no.
What happened?
All right, so we have reservations for 7:15. First off, we traveled so far to get to Atlantic City, dropped the kids off at our mom's, made it to Atlantic City by 7:00. What? Got to the Golden Nug, changed our fucking outfits, went downstairs, got to reservations, got to stay Vic and Anthony's for 7:16. I'm all like, hey, how you doing? There's a fucking dude, a hostess, and he's looking at the iPad, and he's like,
He's a dude hostess.
Yeah, this dude, he was a host, and he was fucking looking through the iPad, right? And he's like just fucking looking down, and I'm literally like this. I'm looking, and I'm like hands crossed, and I'm not like trying to look, like rude or anything, but I'm just, waiting for him to look up and say
bad body language though. Very, very closed off, I must say though.
Okay, all right. He fucking doesn't even look at me. Doesn't even look at me. He just keeps going and going. I look at my wife. I go, is he gonna look at me? He did one of these things. When somebody does not want to, he's like this. He's like, do you know what I'm saying? Like he fucking
walked away without looking up because he knows that you're there.
Yes, that's what he did to me. So then this woman comes by. She's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, yes. Reservation 750. She's like, we're running a little bit behind. It's a little frantic. People are out front. I go, okay, no problem. But I got you checked in. Oh, that's cute. She got me checked in,
okay.
Rock. She got me checked in.
Yeah.
So her and I, we wait outside.
What time's the show, by the way?
10 o'clock.
Okay. All right, we got a little bit of time.
We got a little bit of time. We're outside. What time do you think we were seated? I got there at 7:15, 7:16.
Being that you're telling this story on the podcast, I'm going to say things didn't go smoothly, sir.
They sat us at 7:49.
Okay.
All right, 35 minutes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Place is good. You scrolling through the menu while we're there, people watching, talking shit, right? Having a good time. We sit down and Boo Boo wanted a drink and she wanted something with like bourbon. And she ended up getting a drink called Death and Taxes.
Wow.
And it was delicious.
Can't avoid either.
She goes again. She goes. She's like, I'm looking for. She's like, I'll bring you a drink back. She comes back. She's like, Are you ready to order? And my wife's like, Oh, do you the drink menu? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So she brings the drink menu. She brings the drink menu. The one guy comes out about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later. I'll just let you know the bread is in the oven, and I'm gonna bring out the bread. Okay. Usually it's like bread first, right? No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. It is what it is. It's busy. So now she gets the drink. I get a glass of Merlot. The house, delicious. So fucking, what would you like? So we're looking at the steaks, right? I'm getting a strip, getting New York strip, 14 ounce. I'm checking out the ounces. There's 4. So there's she's getting the filet. There's a 6, an 8, a 12, and that's it. That's all you can get. She comes back. She goes, "Oh yeah. What would you like?" I go, "Listen, we're gonna be an easy couple, and we're gonna order food too."
Easy. Wait, the swingers event's not till next week.
She said, "Shut." So I go, "Yes." My wife goes, "I'll have the 4-ounce filet," and in my head I go, I didn't see 4 ounce on the menu, but maybe I look fast. I go, "I'll take the New York strip. I'll take it medium." My wife's like, "I'll take mine a medium, but a little, like, keep it on a little more." She's like smiling, you know what I'm saying? So like a little medium well. She gets the filet. Appetizers come. I got, like that thick bacon.
Yeah.
Right? I got that. It was delicious, a little fatty, but delicious. She got the lobster bisque soup, delicious. Lady comes over, waitress comes over and goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Would you like another drink, miss?" And she goes, "No, I probably will, but not right now." So take that into consideration, right? I go, "I'll have mine. I'll have another drink with dinner." She comes back, and they bring the steaks. It looks fucking delicious, bro. I'm like, oh, I haven't had a steakhouse in a minute. I look at her steak. Her steak's fucking the biggest 4-ounce filet I've ever seen in my life. She's fucking cutting into hers like butter. I cut mine. I'm like, oh no.
Hockey puck.
It was just fucking well.
Ugh.
A steakhouse. Well, it was
Take it back. Take it back.
Would you have said something?
Well done. Listen, I'm not.
It was a degree. It was 3 degrees under well done.
How'd it taste?
It was very good.
Like
But
on like a
that's not-
ribeye, you can get away with it because there's a lot of fat. But I don't know, man.
a New York strip.
I would take this back. Take it back. Take it back.
So now we're talking about the steak, and she hand delivers another drink to my wife.
That's weird.
Now she goes, "I didn't ask for this, but I mean, it was delicious. $22 a drink." Okay. So she's drinking. I have another glass too. She gives me a piece of her filet. It was like fucking butter. She's like, I can't eat anymore. I'm full. I'm like, give me that. So I'm eating that.
Get over here.
I put the strip to the side. All right. Bill comes, and I look at the receipt, and I go, how much do you think? So you had 2 appetizers, 2
Two
steaks,
appetizers.
4
Let me figure
drinks.
this out. You told me how much the drinks were, so I'm gonna say 50, 100, 110, 120, 30, 200, 280.
Close. 310.
Okay.
I look at
Did you get the
Boo Boo
bread,
and I go,
though?
oh, we did get the bread, and that was actually
Alright.
delicious, and that was hot. So it did come out of the
Alright.
oven. I don't know whose oven, but it came out. So
All right.
so I look at I look at my wife and I go, yeah, they got you down for the 12-ounce fillet. What the fuck? I didn't fucking ask for that. Like I asked for the 4, and I'm like, there was no 4 in the menu. But
Hey, Lee, listen, you're getting the 4 later.
so
I mean,
so now I don't know. What do you think? 4 from a 4-ounce to a so they she didn't hear 12. She fucking it's Atlantic City. Did she? Well, did you? I didn't confront her, but I'm saying, do you think the waitress was like, oh, you said you wanted that drink anyway? So say the bill would have been $50 cheaper, $40 cheaper. Would you have said something?
did you eat the whole steak?
Yeah, I left some.
Did she eat the whole steak?
She gave me some. Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't.
All right. All right.
You could say shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Probably not. So you looked at it and you thought it was a 4-ounce.
Yeah,
And it was 12 ounces.
yeah. So that you're talking about like another $25 to $30 more.
And nobody thought this was weird that, like, hey, wow, that's like 4 ounces is like fucking
A
a
scallop.
mouthful. Yeah.
So we leave there. We're bitching a little bit to each other. It is what it is. I have no cash for a cab. And the guy, oh, we don't take Venmo. I'm like, you don't take Venmo? You don't take anything? And he's like, okay, I'll take it. Oh, miraculously, you take a card.
That's weird.
$15 to go 15 feet. And then we get into the Borgata. We get into the Borgata. We went and saw Sebastian Maniscalco. The opener was a name, I think his name was Mike McCurdy. I could be wrong. I'll check that. Clean guy, clean comic. Very
Funny,
good.
though.
It was funny. He was funny. He did 15.
I think he opened for I think he opened for him last year as well.
Oh yeah.
Is he like he has like a like New York accent or something like that, maybe?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. A tall Irish guy.
Yeah.
So he run. I had an aisle seat, and this was all like this wasn't stadium seating. This was all
It's
flat.
in the event center, it's flat.
Yeah. Like I was seeing your brother fight. That's how I felt like it was. It was minus the cage. So he's like, okay, that's my time. And he fucking takes off. He runs down my aisle, literally
I
fucking
tripped
running. So I hold out my hand for a little fucking high five. He hits my hand. I thought he hit my hand with a wet sponge.
Ooh.
I wonder if he was nervous. But
You think?
I don't know. But he was funny. He's a good guy. Sebastian came on, and then the funny part is Sebastian comes on, the place goes crazy, right? As soon as he comes on, some lady starts fucking mouthing off, bro. Mouthing off. Like,
a real Caqueron.
He goes, I waited all night to come out. Don't fuck it up. Fucking funny. So then 15 minutes later, some dude bop, 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 fucking talking shit, right? He looks over and the guy stops. And then he fucking does it again and looks over. And he goes to the guy's wife. He goes, "Isn't it your job to keep him in line?" Like, he took care of the hecklers like hard and fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that he's well equipped to do so.
Yeah. A lot of skits, funny skits, dirtier than you would think he is usually sometimes.
Yeah.
But Sebastian Maniscalco, very funny. Very funny. And I got a tequila there. The bartender didn't charge me. So the universe paid me back.
$35.
22. The gods paid me back. He didn't charge me for my double.
Look at you.
So it was a good night. So happy 6-year anniversary. It was a good night.
Aw. So you're saying Sebastian was awesome? The only problem with the whole trip was going to Vic and Anthony's. That seemed to be a mistake.
I'd give my left nut for that hair. The
Let's
left,
talk
the
about
left,
it.
the left one.
Let's
The
talk
left-
about it.
Just the left
Hold
one.
up. Here we go.
Yo, Rock,
What's up?
let me tell you a little something about tonight's guest.
Hit me.
This funny MFer has a quick-witted sense of humor that keeps us listeners on our toes, but his taste in music moves us off our feet, son. You can hear him on Sirius XM Turbo, Channel 41, Ozzy's Boneyard, Channel 38, but most of all, he's recognized for being one half of the humorous duo that has been entertaining us for years. Welcome to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast, host of Cavino and Rich, Steve Cavino. What's up, bro?
What's up, dude?
All I needed was, with glory and renown, the guy with the greatest hair. We were talking about the hair.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you so much. That was a great intro, man. It's a pleasure to be here. What up, Archie? What up, Rocco? Not These Two Fucking Guys. Your audience. What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be here. I'm
What's
glad
up,
we could
man?
finally make this happen. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, man?
I know we
Hey,
have been,
vatos locos.
I know we've been going back and forth, and you got, I believe you got a daughter. I have two little girls. Rocco's got a daughter. It's a daughter club, and
Yo, what did we do in our past life to deserve this,
Yeah.
man? Seriously.
that could be saved for Patreon.
yeah, exactly.
I can't say that. No, but I know you're busy, and last week was Halloween, and
Yeah.
But thank you so much for making some time for us, and you're
Appreciate it.
here. You're here.
Of course, dude. Yeah, last week was Halloween, and it was also my daughter's birthday. She's 14 now, so that's the life I'm living. Yeah, I'm her chauffeur, I'm her butler, right? And at the same time, I'm like her ticket to cool concerts, I guess, because that's where we bond. That's where we bond the most. But yeah, she's great. She's doing well. And I actually got to pick her up a little later on tonight. But in the
Gotcha.
meantime, man, let's chop it up.
Yes.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. And I'm glad you dig the stuff that me and Rich do, and that I've been doing at Sirius XM for all those years. It means a lot. I appreciate it.
You've been I mean, you're a fucking staple. I mean,
Yeah.
like no doubt about it. I mean, over I don't know, 16 years you were at Sirius. I mean,
Wow. You want to
you're
know
still
the
there
truth,
now,
man?
but
Yeah, I was just talking about this today, actually, because SiriusXM announced their new logo, their new look. It's like a revamped sort of thing going on right now. There's a new
Okay.
SiriusXM logo with a star in the S, right?
okay.
So I was talking about how long I've been there. I've been there so long. At first, it was Sirius, and the dog, Mongo, the dog was the logo. And then the merger happened, and we had the XM logo, more with the Sirius logo. Now a whole new chapter. And I feel like I've been part of this crazy journey. I'm so thankful for it. But I started there in 2002.
Wow.
So 21 years. I started on Octane, one of the OG voices on Octane, which is still around. That's Pure Hard Rock of today. And Rich and I joined forces in 2004. So we had a 16-year run there as a show. But as far as the music side of things, 21 years and still going because, like you said, I'm on Turbo and Boneyard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
What do you attribute the longevity to?
Outworking everybody. Yeah, everybody says they want it, but they don't. Yeah, everybody says they want to do this, they want to do that, but no one wants to put the time in. And I think that, and I have fun doing it. Like I have a true passion for what I do, and I hopefully that's contagious. Hopefully that comes across. But also, sticking it out. I think just sticking it out and putting in that extra work. I know in today's world, a lot of people say that shit doesn't matter. I believe that it does. I believe that's why I'm still around.
Yeah.
And I don't complain a lot. I just do my job and I have fun doing it.
Go in, do your job, fuck off. I'm out.
Yeah. Low maintenance. Yeah, you got to be a little low maintenance sometimes, but I like it that way. You said it best. I do my job and then I'm out. That's really it.
Gotcha.
I think people complain a lot and they're their own worst enemy. But yeah, just doing it with a smile and really loving what you do.
I gotta say, Arch. So this is, I guess it was around 04, right? Before they were building cars with Sirius or XM radios in them. I had a little thing that I got from like Best Buy, wherever I got it from, Circuit City. It was like
the old plug and plays.
Yeah, it was like suction cup to my windshield.
Yeah.
And you were like one of the first things that one of the first voices I remember hearing on Sirius XM and or Sirius when it was at the time, that really like it was good. It was different. To me, it was so different than what I heard on terrestrial radio. I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool. And that's like one of my earliest memories of satellite radio, which is really cool.
We were creating a new art form, a new medium, right? It was uncensored, no commercials. So we were trying to speak to a national audience. And we were the first to do that, pioneers in a way. And looking back, man, it was so fun. And then when Rich and I joined forces, that was a whole other thing too, because it was like long form interviews and discussions that no one was really doing at that time. That was even pre-Howard on Sirius XM. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those were the coolest days because you didn't know who was listening. You didn't know, how many people were listening. It was new for everybody at the same time. And, looking back, it was so cool to be a part of that early. I was in my early 20s. I'm 47 now. So, and you know what? It's kept me young, dude. The rock, the music, that lifestyle, it's kept me young because, again, I love what I do. So less stress, I guess.
I was telling Rocky, we were talking this week. I was like, yo, he's going to come on this week. It's going to happen. Yeah. And I was talking to him and I was like, think about this guy's job or part of his job. Like, what the fuck? Like, like talking about 90s music, bullshitting with one of your best friends. Like, it's a dream fucking job that you have, my friend. Like,
I've been very lucky. Yeah, very blessed, very fortunate, man. I believe, not to get all hippy dippy on you, but you got to manifest that shit. You got to believe it, to be honest. Like, it's not an accident that I work in this industry. Mm-hmm. I thought about it, I wanted it, and I went for it. So, first you got to see it, make it happen, and go for it. Because I was a huge fan of rock music. It was two things. It was either play baseball and I wasn't good enough, or get involved in rock somehow. And I got my first internship at K-Rock New York, and that was the 90s, modern rock, active rock channel at the time. And then I took it from there to Sirius XM Octane. And again, there's not that many opportunities. So to make it happen, you really just got to outlast people. It really is, outlast them and outwork them. And at the same time, you got to have a little luck and you got to do a good job. But dude, trust me, I don't take what you said for granted, man. I BS for a living. I have fun doing it. So I even tell my friends at Fox Sports, I say, if I ever complain, you have the permission to kick my ass, because this is the fun shit. Life is hard enough. I complain about life and other shit. Work is always fun for me, man. Yeah.
Speaking about taking it back, I have something here that I want to just talk about a little bit. A couple weeks back, the Kane and Corey podcast had Cabby on.
Yeah.
And and
I heard it, and I heard you guys get a shout out recently. Yeah, I heard that.
We did. And I tagged him on a post, and I was like, dude, thank you so much. And Kane reached out. He was like, man, I'm happy. That's awesome.
And
very,
congrats
very cool.
to you, man. You're giving me props. I appreciate it. you guys are doing your thing, and that's really cool to see, man. It's really, really cool.
We're the low budget Rich and Cavino. That's what we are.
Hey, man, whatever. Hey, you're doing it. It's all fun.
But Cabby said some nice words about you, amongst
Love
other
that.
things. And I'm sure you heard the story that he he said
Dude,
something about you
when
walking
he
in on
heard
him.
that story, it's so funny, man. I did hear him. He talked about a time that I saved his ass because I walked into the studio and he was a little bit out of it, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, looking back, it's funny because my perspective is a lot different. That was my come up in radio. So I was bright-eyed and so pumped just to be a part of it. You know, Kane and Cabby and Booker and all those dudes I worked with back then, Raz, Will Pendarvis, all those guys.
Yeah.
You know, those are guys I learned from, and they were the rock stars to me. You know, that's when the radio really was the star, and they were taking limos to the concerts, you know? So I was just super pumped to be there. But, you know, my perspective, like I said, is different because they were radio veterans. I was just so pumped taking it all in. So I remember everything. However, I didn't remember that one particular story because I can't tell you how many times I bailed out Cabby. And I say that with love because he's my homie, dude. He really is. And he told the true story. He was like, hey, Cavino, if you're going to make it in this business, he's like, you got to be a shark. You got to be a shark. Do you know what sharks do? And I'm like, I don't know, eat people. He's like, they always move forward. You got to keep going. I love that. I love that. Move forward. And he was telling me, you got to get out of here. You know, kind of like Goodwill Hunting. Like, you got to get out of here. You're too good for this. You're never going to make it here. Go out and be somebody and do your thing. And they were all real supportive, and they all told me all that shit. And, dude, back then, though, those were the best days. Dead Air Dave, all the guys I worked with, from the Stern crew to the rock department. You know, we really were like a family back then. But I think they were also in their zone of partying and being rock stars. I probably have more pictures and memories of it than they do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
but Cabby, I worked with him, man. I worked really close with Cabby. And another thing, dude, they were all from different places, right? So I feel like I was their outlet to what was really going on in the tri-state area, in New York, in New Jersey. They were from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Minnesota. They didn't give a fuck. Kane didn't give a fuck about Jersey. He used to make fun of me for being so Jersey, and now he's like Captain Jersey Shore. He loves Jersey and Raw. Yeah, he bleeds Jersey. So when I first met those dudes, they're like, look at you, grow your hair out, take the chain off, let go of the earrings. You're so Jersey. And I'm like, yo, I'm the guy you're talking to. So I was sort of the local dude at K-Rock, New York, but I was way young and still learning the business. And, you know, I really learned a lot from all of those guys. And Cabby, I love him till this day.
Yeah, man. I mean, go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead, Arch. Go ahead.
Well, from the K-Rock Lodo shows to memories of, for at least from Rocky and I walking into like Hammerstein Ballroom and seeing like fucking
dude, I was at all of them.
Fucked up. Like what I said previously about like Dream Job is just because like Rocco and I mean, we mention this all the time on the podcast. You know, we've been in bands for years, and music is a big key, a huge key to this podcast that we have. And my top 3 bands are POD and Stained and Seven Dust and everything that you play on Ozzy and fucking, and I'm like, oh God. But to be back in that time, it was just I mean, I was in my early 20s. I mean, I'm 3 years younger than you. So
same. Dude, imagine how I felt like just to and again, all those shows, those Lodo shows, because I was working in promotions and trying to get any airtime that I could, and I was doing weekends, overnights, and things like that. I was the first guy at those shows and the last guy to leave. Me and the whole street team and promotion team hanging up banners and shit, but also just trying to see what was going on backstage. And if I got a fist pump from LeJean or saw Aaron Lewis, that was like, or snuck a picture, like that shit was so cool because we were such fans. And dude, even though I work in sports now and that's primarily what I do full time, you know, we still incorporate music as much as we can. I'm still a music guy at heart, you know, and you can be both, you know, but really I'm more of a music guy. I'm a music dude. I started at K-Rock in, I think, 97, and I left in 2004. So I was there for a good 8 years.
So
Yeah.
when you first were on satellite radio, right? It's
Yeah.
something new. It's a new medium. Did you have any thoughts about what you'd be doing 10 years from now? Like would it last? Like what it was?
I did. You know, you're young and hungry, and as I learned from Twisted Sister, you got to stay hungry, right? Stay hungry, bro. That's why I'm chubby and I want tacos right now.
Can be both.
I'm always hungry. You always want shit, but you're not really ready for it. And again, this sounds a little hippy dippy, and I'm not really that guy. I just believe in these things because they've happened. You know, I think that the universe or opportunities happen when they're meant to happen, you know, and it gives it to you when you're ready. Because back then I was like, I thought I was ready for TV then, and I was trying for shit, but it was never happening. But eventually it happened when I was ready. So I thought probably then I'd be doing more TV stuff. Or I'll tell you what, though, when I was working in promotions and I saw how good guys like Kane and Booker were and still are, and Julie Slater and all those people.
Wow. Yeah.
Danny, you know, all the ones that I worked with. I saw how great and polished they were and how natural they were. I'm like, I could never do that. So there was a point where I was like, I could fucking never. I would have never thought in a million years I'd be able to do talk radio. I didn't know I had an opinion about anything until I was forced to have an opinion, you know? I come from a real loudmouth Mexican Italian family, and my uncles and cousins and my mom, they never stopped talking. I never really had a chance to talk. So, you know, I think I learned that on the fly, man. And you know, I never thought, I'd say earlier on, I would have never thought I would have been a talk show host.
Mhm.
And eventually, as I started to get the ball rolling, I thought I'd be on TV sooner. But like I said, things happen when they're meant to.
Yeah. Going back to that interview with Kane, though, they said good things about you as far as the shark comment, because you did leave at a certain time and then you left at a certain time, and you know, to make your transition. But also there was the time where after 16 years, something that maybe you could clear up that I just kind of didn't understand was that, hey, we're not renewing your contract, but you could stay on Turbo if you'd like.
Yeah,
like,
really
like,
interesting, man.
But is that like something like, hey, you could stay on your other channel, but we're not picking you up?
So we got to keep in mind the pandemic happened, right? So that changed everything. I had a TV show on ESPN. The pandemic happened, and they were like, pause. We're not going to renew your contract right now because we're in the middle of this, but you know, hang tight. So we're like, and the same sort of thing started to happen with SiriusXM. We were already rebranding our show prior to all this. We were going to transition our show into more of a sports show, but still maintain, you know, the same fabric of what we were doing earlier.
Gotcha.
You know, the bullshit, nonsense, Covino and Rich stuff. But what happened was, because the pandemic happened and the way people consume media started to change with podcasts, they gave us an offer we couldn't accept. That's the most politically correct to put it, and it's the truth.
Okay.
They gave us an offer to continue doing Covino and Rich on SiriusXM, but in podcast form. So we were used to doing a 5-day-a-week show for 3 hours a day with a full contract and salary. Because of the way the world works now, they were like, no, we just need you to do 2 shows a week, maybe an hour or 2 each show, like just like a regular podcast. But then they pay you podcast money. And it's like, well, man, I could do that on my own. So we said, hey, listen, how about, and believe me, we tried to stay there. I want everyone to know that it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I always say vatos don't cry, bro. Vatos don't cry. When I signed off that last show for Covino and Rich on SiriusXM, it hit me like a ton of bricks because I grew up there, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was there from, again, 2002, but Covino and Rich from 2004 to, I don't even know, what, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years, 4, I don't even know. Time's flying, dude.
Yeah. I know.
So we said, hey, listen, well, we could do our own podcast at that point. Can we just do our own thing and still maintain on the music side of things and still continue doing the music side of things? They're like, yeah, of course. So we took Covino and Rich and we made it a podcast. And then Rich stayed on his pop channels and I stayed on my rock channels. Because although it's one big company, the talk side and the music side are still like
different
kind
heads.
of separate. Yeah, different heads, different departments. It's one
Gotcha.
company, but yeah, so we said goodbye to the talk side of things and we went on our own, but they were still cool enough to say, yeah, man, continue doing all the rock stuff, which is great. You know,
Which
it's
is
been
cool
a blessing.
enough.
So we still do our own thing, but we're still a part of the SiriusXM family, which is a blessing. I'm just not full-time there anymore. I'm full-time at Fox Sports. So I'm like
Gotcha.
at freelance, even though I'm on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do I just talked about this today. I do 18 shifts every 2 weeks. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
For
right.
for SiriusXM, yeah.
Gotcha.
So
But it was sad, dude. It was sad. It was
I'm
sad.
sure it was. I'm sure it was. It's a big part of your life.
But with crisis, you get opportunity, right? If we didn't face that challenge, we wouldn't have our own studio. We wouldn't have our own podcast. And now we got our hand in like a little bit of everything. We have our own podcast. We're still on satellite and we're full-time on terrestrial. So like we're doing it all. In today's world, you have to, man. It's like you got to do a little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you this. So obviously you're a professional. This is what you want to do your whole life. But how do you keep like we're talking to you right now, and I see the smile on your face, and I see like the nice hair and the good looks. Like, how do you keep that enthusiasm going? Like to want to like
eye cream.
Oh yeah, like
compliments, hair dye.
Weed.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Honestly, how do I keep
you have the enthusiasm, like you feel it when you talk to you.
You got to surround yourself with good people, right? Like Fox Sports Radio, man, we're surrounded by the best team in the business. I love the people I work with. They make it fun. Rich and I always challenge each other. You know, Rich Davis from Pop 2K. I say Pop Toupee. Pop 2K, the Pulse and all. You know, I think we keep each other honest. We keep each other motivated. And it's just having perspective, man. When you're talking to all these people across the country all the time, not everybody loves what they do. So you do feel blessed. You do feel fortunate. And as corny as it sounds, you know, health is wealth. I'm healthy and, you know, I can't complain about it. I just came back from the gym, dude. So I appreciate the hair compliment because I just put this shirt on right now. I'm all sweaty underneath. But yeah, I mean, you want to get on my good side, give me I call it a compliment.
Yeah.
Compliment the pomp. I'm feeling good.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice.
dude, I'm talking about my life and my career. The career has been a blessing, dude. You know, so I got no complaints there. There's been some challenges for sure. You know, we just talked about it, but overall, my Monday through Friday, it's all fun shit. It's all stuff that I'd be into and doing anyway. Music and sports and relationship talk, and it's what I do. It's kind of who I am. So it's easy.
Rocco and I grew up in Bloomfield, right up the Parkway from you, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, because you're Union, New Jersey native, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
In fact, as a little boy, my mom. Oh, God.
I was gonna say, but no matter what I do in broadcasting, people always want to talk to me about Artie Lang because he's also from Union. Yeah, Artie Lang.
Yeah. That's right,
Artie. He's great. I love Artie. By the way.
Oh, he's fucking.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he's awesome.
As a little boy, my mom used to take me to the Union Flea Market off Vauxhall Road. If you even know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Dude, it's so funny you bring that up because I tell people that don't know, and every once in a while I'll go on the air and I'll be like, there was this place called the Union Marketplace. And it's the weirdest place that you could possibly imagine. I was like, if you wanted sneakers, they had if you wanted posters, if you wanted a starter jacket, if you wanted a fish tank, if you wanted food, it was under one roof, right? But it was all these little bullshit stands. If you wanted a gold chain, like they had, if you wanted a magic trick, a switchblade comb, if you wanted anything under the moon, it was underneath the roof at the Union Marketplace in the shittiest part of town. Yeah, in Vauxhall, New Jersey.
Two things I got.
I missed that place.
Two things. I was a little kid. I got a fucking 4-foot Gene Simmons poster.
There you go.
And a fucking Miami Hurricane starter jacket.
That hit the nail on the head, dude.
I
Like
swear to
it
God.
was Rocco. If you can imagine, it was like the size of a mall, right?
Well,
There was
I
all these
remember
little.
it.
Oh, you do? Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
all these little bullshit, like mom and pop stores in
Yep.
one place, but they had everything, dude. And I had my Uncle Joe, who he's one of my biggest influences and one of my best buds. He fucking lived there. He was like the mayor of it. So he was there like multiple times a week because my grandma lived close by. And I would be there with him too all the time. He just would, you go there with your buds, walk around, buy some shit. But it was a place, the type of place that just doesn't exist anymore.
No,
You're right.
Nothing. I've actually never seen anything like it before or since.
Now I know I'm getting weird.
Video
about this,
games and shit.
but like,
yeah, go ahead.
the shit that's popping into my head right now, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm getting weird about this. I would be
It's all
eating.
good.
My mom would whatever the fuck she was doing, and I'd have one of those foot long. It was like a foot long hot dog they used to sell over there, and there was a rocket ship in the middle.
Dude, totally remember.
And
they had
it
in
was
the
a fucking
back. They had all the food. They had like little kid rides. They had like
Holy
video
shit.
games. They had like I don't know if you remember in the 80s, there'd be like marionette puppets that you could control by pressing the buttons.
Yep.
They had it was the weirdest place ever. And I try to talk about it to people and they're like, they don't really care. But if you remember, you're like, oh, dude, we saw Shaquille O'Neal there when we were kids because it was the spot. Yeah. I mean, he's not much older than us, but you know, so it was if you were in that area, that's where you went for some cool sneakers if you were looking for them at the time, or even some bootleg shit or Drakkar. Like if I was trying to buy cologne, you know, like that's where it may have been fake, but you found it there, you know. So
there was a very good time. There was a very a good chance in life that all of us were wearing Z Cavaricis and smelled like a fucking smelled of Drakkar.
Dude, it's so funny, man, because I'm such an East Coast Jersey kid. Like I'm such a Guido at heart, and my dad's Italian, right? But I was it's so different in a way because I loved the Guidet girls, and I was rocking Cavaricis and IOU sweatshirts and smelling like Drakkar. But I always liked rock music, dude. Always from the start.
We were.
So rock.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's a weird breed because people are like, "Are you Italian, Mexican? How the fuck do you like rock?" And I like it all. I like all music, dude, especially 90s hip hop and you know, everything, bro, everything. But you know, not R&B. But I was always a rock kid. Always a rock kid wearing Cavaricis.
I fucking Kavina, you're an honorary best friend if we ever meet each other.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I had 35 pairs. Swear to God, I was such a spoiled little fuck, which probably explains a lot. My mom bought me 35 pair of Cavaricis, dude. And that was like a weird bragging right back then because I had them all.
Yeah, it's so funny. We talk about that, and my dad was like Italian, old school Italian.
Yeah.
Like my aunt bought me my first pair. It was like back then. So we're talking what, mid 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
They were like $60.
They were so cool though. They were.
The fuck? He's like, you paid $60 fucking for a pair of pants with some asshole's name on it. And I'm like,
oh, you know what? At the marketplace, you know which one they sold? Bojos. They
Bojos.
sold they sold the weak ass ones. And you would have to wear I forget the name of them, but the Reeboks with the Velcro and the strap. You had to wear that with them.
And you had to put the Velcro together with it and not
it. Remember cuffing your pant?
Oh my God.
That double.
Of course.
That double.
And by the way, this goes back to what you guys were saying before. You know, how do I attribute my longevity in this game? I have a great memory, and I can recollect all that stuff and recall that stuff like it was yesterday, man. So that really helps. It's like a blessing and a curse because you feel so connected to that. I feel like I'm never growing up because I'm still like that. But I could remember those things like yesterday, man. So that's why all that shit's always fun to talk about. And people love to reminisce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I want to get to right before we go, but what I want to talk about.
Oh, by the way, dude, hold on.
Yes,
You brought up Cavaricis and all that shit.
Yes.
You probably remember going to the Woodbridge Mall and Menlo Park, all those malls.
Merry-go-round.
Do you remember the stores Merry-Go-Round and Ativo and all those? My first real job was like umpiring Little League, but my first real job, I worked at a clothes store called The Garage on Route 22 in Union. It was right by the flagship.
Yes, by the
flagship. So that was my very first job ever. I worked there when I was 15 to then I started working at Bennigan's in Springfield 22. And then I ended up at K Rock in New York. Those were my first jobs.
I still think I have a bum sweatshirt on layaway in the garage.
Yeah, the bum for sure. Yeah,
Home equipment.
layaway.
Fucking
Yep.
great.
Yep.
So we growing up right where you grew up, as we got older, we hung out in Hoboken all the time. You know, we used to go to Rocco and I used to go to Hoboken all the time. I read something, and if this is true or not, did you meet Rich at O'Donoghue's?
No,
Many
actually.
moons ago?
But I'll tell you the story, man. I don't want to bore you guys.
No.
So Rich Davis, man. I was at K Rock, New York, and this is when like New York radio was competitive. It was K Rock and 102.7, right? It was Z100, Hot 97, and all these stations competed, but it was a small world. So every time I was going on some audition for MTV or VH1 or whatever, I'd have these guys tell me, "Yeah, you're just too green. You're not really polished. You're too young. You remind me a lot. Do you know Rich Davis?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is Rich Davis? Fuck Rich Davis." So I knew of him, right? And then I remember someone calling me up late at night because I was doing overnights with Liquid Todd and Cabby, and then I would do my own shift. And Liquid Todd was a huge mentor of mine. So hey, let it be known that most of my first opportunity ever was Liquid Todd and Brian McFadden, and these are guys that I love and they're like brothers to me, right?
Yes.
So Liquid Todd, I'd be doing late nights with him, then I'd be on by myself. And I remember one person calling me up, "You sound like Rich Davis." And I'm like, "Who the fuck is Rich Davis? Fuck Rich Davis." And then eventually I'm cruising like to work one day, and someone, like my girlfriend, probably left Z100 on because I didn't listen to that shit. So she left it on in my car, and I hear "Nighttime Hottie, Rich Davis," and I hear this Mickey Mouse motherfucker on the radio. I'm like, people think I'm like this guy. And fast forward, we had mutual friends. I met this guy Nico, who's a big radio star, Nico Petru, big radio star in Arizona now.
Okay.
And my buddy Matt, who I worked with at K Rock, Matt Ianni, he worked at K Rock and Z100. And we just started to form our own clique. Like, you had the Kanan Booker and that generation of guys. We were the guys right behind them. So we sort of got close together. And I became friends with this guy, Nico and Matt, and they worked at Z100.
Mm-hmm.
So then eventually they're like, "Yo, we're going to go meet our buddy Rich at Hoboken. You want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come." I met him at the Planet. So I showed up. Remember Planet Hoboken?
Oh, yeah.
So Planet Hoboken, I go there and I'm like, "Where's this Rich Davis character?" And I shit you not, bro. It was like, "All right, everybody, let's welcome Rich Davis." And I see this fucking clown get on the stage there. And he's all hyped up, throwing out T-shirts, and the girls are going crazy for him. And he's hosting. And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know he was working."
Yeah.
The catch was he wasn't even working. He was just being a fucking cheese ball, taking in all the glory. He wasn't on the clock. He was just there being the Z100 guy. So I met him. We hit it up. We both loved sports. We both loved chicks. We both drove the same car. We had, for all of our things in common, we had a lot of differences. Like, he liked the Mets. I liked the Yankees, right? I was a rock guy. He was a pop guy, but we got along and hit it off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And he was willing to hear my bullshit about all the breakups and girls I was going through at the time. So he was willing to be a friend, and that's how we met. And then the O'Donoghue's tie-in is I was DJing at O'Donoghue's. As part of my grind and hustle, I was taking free swag from the radio station and giving it away on my DJ nights, in Hoboken. And I was hosting a Thursday night every night in Hoboken. And eventually my buddy Nico was also doing it. And then that became the place to hang out. So that was where we hung out all the time because I was DJing, and all the Z100 dudes would come. Some of the K Rock guys would come. And I was the worst mix DJ ever, but I was DJing at Hoboken for a few years, man. For a few years I was doing that, but making decent money. So I was just on my hustle. So O'Donoghue's was where we all hung out.
Gotcha. Oh,
but I miss those days, man. I miss Hoboken and the Cadillac Bar and all that shit, right? So those are the best days, no doubt.
Cadillac Bar was a great time, and then I think it turned into a gay club.
It did, yes.
I think so.
Like when I walked in there, I'm like, the Cage? Wait a minute, what is that? Yeah.
I swear we did that. We walked in, we were like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He left, and Archie stayed for a couple hours after that. So I don't know what happened. But
$20 is $20.
Sometimes you walk into a place that actually happened to us a few times in the city. You know, it takes you a minute. You're like, wait a minute,
yeah.
what's going on here?
Actually, Arch,
but
Arch, do you remember we so we were playing? This is I don't even know what year, mid 2000s. We were playing, about to play the Stone Pony, and it was like Asbury Park, and I don't know if it was like Gay Pride Month, Gay Pride Day.
Okay.
We went into that gay bar next door, and honestly, it was probably one of the best times I've ever had in my life.
It was actually a good time.
Yeah.
I'll take a compliment no matter where I can get it from. So
Drinks are cheap,
You know
so
what?
was I.
When I was on a big time prowl in the early 2000s, some of the girls would be like, let's go. And they would take you to a gay bar. And maybe just to see if you would roll with them. I don't know if they were testing me, but I couldn't care less,
Yeah,
we were
neither
sitting
could I.
and was with-
It was
yeah.
we actually had a fantastic time before we played.
Dude, so you guys are from the Asbury Park area? Is
No,
that where you're from?
Bloomfield.
I mean Bloomfield, but you would go there. Is that where
Yeah.
you partied? I mean,
Yep.
We
Cool.
did.
Dollar
We did
Shore,
my-
Baltimore,
the whole
Seaside.
shore. Yeah, the whole shore thing. We had the Belmar
Yeah,
house.
I was-
We did
yeah,
everything.
very much a Jersey Shore kid growing up. That's where I would party, and that's where now I take my kid. Like, if my kid's coming to the East Coast with me during the summer, like we're going to the Jersey Shore, and she loves it. So
Yes.
it's a full circle thing. And like I said, now she's my concert partner.
That's
We go to rock
awesome.
shows together. We saw
That's
Metallica recently. We're going to Sick New World again in April.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool. It's cool for her. So she's grown up way different than we have, because
Oh,
she's
yeah.
grown up in a studio, and her mom was on TV. So she's got a cool life. Yeah, she's cool.
Very good. That's awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
So last thing. So now we are on weekdays, 5 to 7, Fox Sports Radio. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty big. This is, like if you said you would have ended up here, would you
Well,
think?
it's cool because the dream job was, I was at ESPN. I was like, fuck, dude, we got a TV show. And that took like 3 years to even get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did ESPN radio.
Yeah.
So when we didn't get renewed there, we're like, oh man, we already did ESPN. We're either gonna have to wait for this opportunity to open up again there, because they were, we didn't burn any bridges. They loved us there and everything.
Yeah.
It was just budgets. They were cutting everybody. For us to get an opportunity at Fox seemed pretty. Where else were we gonna go? There's only 4 spots there nationally, right?
Gotcha.
And dude, they came calling. Colin Cowherd put in a good word for us. My agent hustled them, and the boss started listening and liking what we did. They made a spot for us, which was awesome.
Nice.
I would have never thought in a million years, and I love being a part of it, dude. I love the team over there. I love that they made a slot for us right in the middle of the day. And again, it's national. And I would have never thought it, because we're not really a hardcore sports show. So it would take someone to really believe in what we're doing,
Sure.
and that we're doing something different to give us that shot. It's, for your listeners, it's Barstool-ish, but we were doing that shit before. It's who we are. We were doing that before Barstool was a thing. It's like lifestyle, pop culture mixed with sports. And Fox knew that if they were going to hire anybody to do that sort of show, it was us, and they made it happen. And I give them a lot of credit for taking that chance. And now it's on us to deliver, and they love us. We have a great opportunity. So it's Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 on the West. That's 7. What is it? 5 to 7 on the East.
Yeah.
Got to count those. Yeah. 5 to 7 on the East, and it's a great spot. And then because of that, we now do a bonus podcast Wednesday and Friday called Overpromised.
Overpromised. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's on Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page every Wednesday and Friday after our actual show, and you can see it anytime. Overpromised, and it's a free follow, so you can follow that. But yeah, the day is pretty crazy, man. We do our Patreon show Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You got to subscribe to that, but that's where we get raw and real.
Mm-hmm.
And the show has taken some crazy twists. Our producer lives a whole different lifestyle now that I'm not even sure you're aware of. And,
I'm aware of.
Oh yeah. We
That's-
go wild there.
That's producer Jay's brother.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm aware of that
So
shit. I
again,
was like, what?
total small world shit, and I love J-Rock, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like family. You know, I've worked with his brother for almost 20 years now. So we get real raw on our Patreon show about life, about everything. That's Patreon Monday through Thursday. Subscribe, Covino and Rich. Then we go from there to Fox Sports, and we're done around 4:00 unless we do our bonus show. And then I fit in some Turbo for Sirius XM in between, man. So
Awesome.
Turbo every night, 7 days a week. Turbo 41. We got the new logo, and I'm on Ozzy's Boneyard, which is, by the way, so fucking cool because, again, I'm a little younger for that sort of music, but I grew up with it. Like I had older influences. You know, my uncles were sitting me like, listen to this shit. This is Black Sabbath. This is Van Halen. I loved it, and I still like Twisted Sister was my favorite fucking group growing up. They just were. So I get to play all that stuff Saturday and Sunday morning, and I had to get hired by Sharon and her team and say, yeah. So it's so cool to be a part of that too. And
Awesome.
I work for a cool guy named Jay. The guy that runs that channel also runs Rock the Bells on Sirius XM. So he works for Ozzy and LL Cool J, which is so cool. So it's cool to be a part of all that shit, man. And like I said, if you can get anything out of this discussion, Steve Harvey said it to me, not to name drop, but it's true. He said it to me, so I'll say it to everybody else. Multiple streams of income, especially in today's world, man. You can't rely on one fucking thing anymore because of the way the world works, because of the economy. And, you know, you could cry about, oh, I'm not making enough money, or you can go out there and fucking make more money and just put the time and hard work in and just do what you got to do to make ends meet. So, I got it all on. I make time for my family, and, you know, I love what I do. So I'm always on that grind, you know, so it's fun.
Well said, my friend.
That's awesome.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I can speak for Rocco and myself. Thank you so much, man, dude. This is a long time coming, and
so much fun.
So much fun. One day, I'd love to just shoot the shit with you about music and have a beer and just fucking. If you're ever in the East Coast, that would be fucking dope.
Like, dude, I go to visit my family as much as I can. Not just enough. You know, I'm out here in LA. Just talk music, and dude, that's what that's what I love to do the most. I know I talk sports and shit, but talking music is what I fucking live to do. And I love it, man. I just posted a clip today. So if anyone's watching this, it's about 90s rock. I posted it on my Instagram, Steve Covino, and at Steve Covino, at Covino and Rich. I love talking music, 90s rock, especially angry dad rock from the early 2000s, divorced dad rock. Or as the kids call it, butt rock. They call it butt rock now. I like butts, you know, that's cool, whatever. Right. But like, you know, everything from Godsmack to Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin. I love all of that shit. Awesome. And I'll talk about it all day long. Yeah, absolutely. That's the soundtrack to my life. So that's what keeps me motivated and keeps me going for sure.
We would have drank 40s at some time in our lives somewhere.
We will. We will, man. Maybe at Hoboken one day for sure.
Beer in Jersey.
All right, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yo, best of luck to you and Rich, and
thank you.
More success, and please out there subscribe to their Patreon.
Thank you, man.
Covino and Rich, and best of luck, bro. Enjoy.
Hey, props to you guys. Continued success, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you so much.
Rocco. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
To all your listeners. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Later, bro.
That was the great Steve Covino, the very funny Steve Covino, the very talented Steve Covino.
Yeah,
I like that. You know what? I'm telling you, we would have been fucking drinking a 40 somewhere with that kid, fucking 20 years ago. Right?
I think we might do it this summer.
I hope I wish he fucking randomly would just be like, "Yo, I'm up here. I'm hanging out. Let's grab a drink."
All of a sudden, you get a text. Let's go.
LFG. Let's fucking go.
LFG. Yo, so
wait, you ready? I want to get a drink and talk about 90s rock. I'll be like, let's go.
Oh my God, we're your guys.
Well, cheers to that guy, bro. Fucking, I thank him a lot for coming on. I know he's a busy dude, and
he's a pro's pro, right? Talks for a living, wants to talk to, takes time to talk to Mama Lukes like us.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
That's right.
The union market. So I gotta say, shout out to our boy Paul DeSico. So the last time I was at Union Market, it had to be 94, 95. Paul got his license, and he was like the first one to get his license out of our friends. And we went there, I'll say every weekend, because he bought like fucking like a kicker box, a fucking bass tube, or whatever. That was the place. He's like, yo, you get the cheap fucking, the less expensive sound equipment for your car.
Yeah.
Every weekend. Every fucking weekend.
Shout out to Uncle Paulie. I miss him.
Uncle Paul.
Rocco, with that being said, what do you have to say to the people?
If you just heard us talking to our boy Cavino, you're stacking mad chips in the casino, you're throwing the Hail Mary like Dan Marino, and you're hanging out drinking in the back of an El Camino, then you just listen to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
We out.